What's going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, we have another one here for you, and this is going to be talking about a breakdown of the Indianapolis Colts offensive line and how it has melted down to the point at which it is at now. Now, I'm going to sit right up here up the top. I'm going to just tell you guys, I don't know how this offensive line has gotten to the point where it is now. I really don't even know if anyone truly understands why it's doing that. We'll get into a couple different things. We'll talk about the players, talk about the coaching staff, everything. But just to give you an idea of how bad this unit is, this unit has given up 35 sacks through 9 games. Almost 4 sacks a game. 4 sacks a game. That is the worst in the NFL. There are only about 6 other teams in the NFL that are giving up at least 3 sacks a game. Denver is one of them at 3. New York Giants are giving up 3.1 per game. Washington's giving up 3.2. The Rams are giving up 3.5. Cincinnati's giving up 3.6. Chicago's giving up 3.7. The Colts are giving up 3.9. Now, I mean, when you talk about the other top 6 teams, I mean, again, the Giants have played really well this year. They're a winning team. Washington is on the cusp of being that. Cincinnati is definitely a winning team. And Chicago over the last few weeks has played way better than the Colts could ever imagine. But yet, this offensive line has given up 35 sacks. It is on pace to give up 68 sacks this year. 68 sacks. I believe that might end up being a record for the franchise ever. This offensive line unit has just been atrocious. I mentioned it in a video the other day, breaking down this team of their loss against the Patriots, right? After they just gave up 9 to the New England Patriots for Sam Ehlinger's second start ever, right? And it's clear that this unit is not being taken accountability for anyone on the coaches or executive side of things. Chris Ballard went off in a presser saying that, implying the media, have crucified me for not doing anything about the receiver position, and now the offensive line is underperforming. So clearly Ballard doesn't think that the issue that's going on with this team's offensive line is his fault because, he says, oh, well, there's one time I ignore the offensive line and our offensive line just trash. Our offensive line just trash. Well, I mean, it would have helped if you would have kept some very important guys at like Mark Lewinsky or Chris Reed and would have kept those guys around instead of, just letting them both walk. And then now you're paying $20 million a year to a guard that is, not playing well at all right now, not even close to his normal self. That is what is insane about it all. And, we even have implied again, why does Chris Strauser have a job right now with how pitiful this group has played? They got rid of Marcus Brady. They got rid of Frank Reich. Why is it that the position coach, Chris Strauser, still has a freaking job? Why does he still have a job? I don't understand it. But then again, we're going to have to figure that out at some point. Now, with Jeff Saturday coming in with this unit, being a former offensive lineman himself and being a former center, a guy that was blocking for the great Peyton Manning, the guy had to be able to play, right, in order to be at that spot. So hopefully he can connect with these guys and bring some of that back, right? Because what we have seen this year is it's how it started. This team has gone through so many offensive line changes, and none of them have worked. None of them, except for the one game against Jacksonville where they gave up no sacks. One game where they did not give up a sack. And other than that, you've had Matt Pryor start the year out at left tackle. We could just kind of talk about all the players for a second. Left tackle position. I mean, that has just been a botched position for this team, right? Matt Pryor, you said that this guy was going to be your starting left tackle to start the year. He's going to be the guy that, is going to get the benefit of the doubt. Somebody's going to have to be better than him to take over his position, right? And it took all but about 2 weeks for people to realize that Matt Pryor is not a good left tackle. That's one thing. And then you moved him to right tackle and moved Braden Smith into right guard. That was a absolute failure of a mistake against Denver. And then Matt Pryor goes in at right guard, and that doesn't work. It hasn't been working. He literally falls for every stunt that opposing defense runs. Like, Matt Pryor is incapable of stopping a stunt on the defensive line, and it has resulted in so many sacks given up by Matt Pryor this year because of that. So Matt Pryor should not be on this team right now, should not even be playing. And then obviously Bernhard Raimann, who you drafted in this last year's draft, he's your left tackle now, 3rd round pick out of Central Michigan. People are wondering about how good he actually is or can be. Not 100% guaranteed on what we're going to expect from him. He has, had his good moments. He's had his bad moments, as most rookies should. So clearly the Colts botched that one with the left tackle position. And then, of course, your $20 million a year guard starting next year, and he has not looked good at all. I mean, this was a guy that went from being a 3-time All-Pro player at his position for the first 3 years of his career, and his 4th year, he has looked like an average offensive lineman at best. Average at best. And that is just not the standard we can have for Quenton Nelson. You're about to pay this guy the most money of any interior offensive lineman in the NFL, and you want him to settle for average. That is not good. I don't know what Quenton Nelson's deal is. We have not seen him play this bad ever in his career, and I just truly do not understand why all of a sudden he is getting bullied. It looks like he has no aggression anymore. It's like as if he's playing comfortably or playing soft rather than playing aggressive like he normally does. We see the pancakes, we see the aggressive hands, driving guys back. There is no driving back. There is no aggressive blocking. Only Quenton Nelson getting put on his ass more times per game than he's putting somebody else on there. And that is something we have never seen out of Quenton Nelson. Very few times does Quenton Nelson ever get put on his butt. But yet this year, it has been a common trend. He's missing blocks. He's getting bullied. That is not something you need from a $20 million a year guard. That's not excusable. That has to be fixed, or else that contract needs to be fixed up. Either Quenton Nelson gets fixed or the contract gets fixed is where I'm at this point. We talk about Ryan Kelly. I mean, what do you say about Ryan Kelly? Ryan's just not looked the same. Ironically enough, I think he's accounted for the fewest amount of sacks given up this year, but that's of any of the offensive linemen for the Colts. But that's to be expected when you're a freaking center. That's what you're expected. But even then, we've seen him miss blocking assignments, and all things of that nature. And even then, he has not been able to drive anyone back. Him and Quenton Nelson used to be so good with driving people back when it mattered. And it just seems like that has not been a thing this year for Ryan Kelly. There's just so many times where you've seen him miss blocks. And again, this guy's getting paid good money too to be a center. And, this is just not appropriate for him. And then, of course, the right guard spot. I mean, where do you begin? I mean, literally 3 or 4 different guys have played right guard for this team this year. The Colts can't even figure out who they want. Danny Pinter, Will Fries, Matt Pryor, Braden Smith, all these different things, right? Like, they're just, nobody is taking anything over for that right guard position. I mean, if my opinion's any valid point here, Danny Pinter should be center and Will Fry should be right guard. But again, you gave away Mark Lewinsky, who was your most reliable offensive lineman and your most dependable offensive lineman for the last 2 years. Last 3 years, he was part of the team, never missed a game. And the fact that he's not, back on this team was a total travesty. And then, of course, at the right tackle position, Braden Smith, he's paying this guy $18 million a year, man. And there's been multiple times this year Braden Smith has had his cookies swiped, right? Like this is just not normal. This offensive line group, guys, is being paid the most of any offensive line unit in the NFL, and yet are giving up the most sacks this season. Like that can't stand. And I don't know what the problem is. This is an epic meltdown. This team gave up 19 sacks in 2020, 2 years ago, when Phillip Rivers was the quarterback, one of the most immobile quarterbacks we have ever seen in Indianapolis. A 38-year-old quarterback. And yet Phillip Rivers was sacked a grand total of 19 times. That's literally half of what the Colts have given up this year, and they've played half the games. I mean, I don't know where this unit has gone or what the mentality is with this group, but it is the sole reason why the Indianapolis Colts, one of the biggest reasons why the Colts are failing this year, because this offensive line unit is so bad that this offense can't do anything. The quarterback has no time to throw the football to any of the receivers down the field. You can't run the football because you get no push on the front five. I mean, this is a total travesty of an offensive line, and I don't know what to do to fix it. I don't know how we fix it. I don't know if it takes all five guys standing in a freaking mirror or standing in a room and yelling at each other to get their shit together. I don't know what it is. But I'd love to find out what you guys think this unit needs to do, because I don't know. I truly don't know what this unit's going to be like. And with Jeff Saturday, I don't know if it's going to get better. I don't know if it's going to get worse. I have no idea at this point, because it's just nobody's taking accountability. Nobody's actually playing well. Like, Braden Smith is the only guy on the offensive line that has actually made some kind of a turnaround these last few weeks. But even then, it's still not been great. Like, this unit is so, and for a organization that has preached winning in the trenches, right? And this is the unit that is supposed to do that. Like, I understand that at the left tackle position and at the right guard position, we didn't know it was going to be a wild card going in throughout the year. But you had an all-pro at left guard. You had a guy that can easily play amongst the top 5 centers when he was at his best. You had a guy at right tackle that is a top 10 right tackle in this league when he's at his best. But yet, we haven't seen any of these guys at their best all year. None of them. They've all been playing down below standards, and it's all on them. It's on them. I don't know what else to really think about it other than the fact that there's no accountability for these guys as a unit. Like, this is supposed to be the most tight-knit unit, and guys are supposed to, feed off of each other, but nobody is. Let me know what you guys think about this group going forward, because clearly, even if the Colts went and got a future franchise quarterback in the offseason, this offensive line unit cannot be as bad as it is. Because if this offensive line unit is as bad as it is now, our next franchise quarterback might die before he reaches year 3. So something needs to change about this unit. And I don't know what Ballard's going to do. I don't know what Irsay's going to do. I don't know what anyone's going to do at this point. But I want to hear you guys' thoughts. Let me know in the comments what you think of this unit and what needs to be done. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much. And as always, go Colts. What's going on, everybody? Today, I wanted to talk to you about our sponsor, BetStamp. Now, I know what you're thinking. Derek, another betting app? What is so different about this one now? Well, I got to tell you guys, I'm not into online gambling a whole lot and bets online and everything, but I got to tell you, BetStamp is one of the coolest things I have ever seen in regards to betting online. The great thing about BetStamp is it allows you to see all the different odds from all different sports books and see which one provides you the best odds possible for any game or scenario you want to bet on for your pick versus some of the worst. BetStamp allows you to also buy and sell picks that you have without worrying about losing your money or having any issues with it. Believe me, it's all free. I mean, look at this, guys. You have an option for every game across all different kinds of leagues in a ton of different ways. You have baseball, you have college football, UFC, NBA, and NFL. Great for the NFL season now being here. And if I wanted to bet on this Tennessee Titans versus Buffalo Bills game, it shows me in real time what are the best odds, which sports book I'm going to get the best offer from versus some of the worst ones. Because why would you want to earn less money from PointsBet when you could be winning more from ProLine Plus? Again, a great thing that BetStamp offers you, allowing you to make more money for the same pick just with a different sports book. How easy is that? And the great thing is there's not just games. There's player props. There's game props. There's lines. There's live tracking. There's a ton of great ways to make bets and picks on BetStamp, guys. Totally a cool thing to use. I highly encourage you check it out if you're into any kind of online betting. Even if you're not, give it a check. See what you like about it, because I think I actually enjoy using it. But the best way to get an edge on online sports betting is having multiple accounts at different sports books. Be sure to hit the BetLink page, betstamp.app/onboarding. Be sure to check out the BetStamp app or online, and be sure to use the referral code JUICE, plug in your state, and you'll get access to all their affiliates and their prices once you open it up, seeing all states' lines. Be sure to check this out, guys. You won't want to miss it for the best odds on your next sports bet.